Hey, what's up everyone? I hope you're all having a wonderful day or night, but for now, let's get into the video.
When a guy first meets a girl, he'll put her in one of 5 categories. The first category is the desperate girl. This is the girl who really likes him and will do anything for his attention. He could legitimately call her up at 3 in the morning and she will drive an hour away to see him. This is the type of girl that guys usually like having one-night stands with. Number 2 is the situationship. This is the girl they enjoy spending time with but won't commit to. They like you enough to do things together like you guys are dating, but they'll never put a label on it. And no matter how many times you ask, they're never gonna be ready. Number 3 is the placeholder. This is the girl that he settles for. She's good enough to be with him, but he's still looking around to see if there's better out there. He will do the bare minimum in the relationship to keep her happy, but nothing more. Number 4 is the dream girl. This is the girl who encompasses everything he wants in a partner. He's obsessed with her, he will do anything for her, and will go above and beyond to make sure that she feels loved and appreciated. This is the girl that guys propose to in less than a year after leaving a long-term relationship. Lastly, the out of his league girl. You may be confused, like, wait, there's a girl that tops his dream girl? Yes, there is.
No, there isn't. And yes, I know, right? What the hell do I know? I'm a man. But even with me not being an expert on men, I still know they end up marrying their dream girl, and your first 3 points are exactly the same. The girl they only sleep with.
As a human woman, there has been a solution to period cramps our entire lives, and no one told us because as females, we're not seen as actual human beings.
That last bit you said makes insanely good sense. All mostly jokes aside, what miracle cure that somehow is my fault she doesn't know because I'm the owner of a 1992 Schlort in my case.
I tried pickle juice because everyone was talking about it in the comments on TikTok because it has electrolytes and salt and water for hydration, right?
Are you How is this men's fault? Telling me no man in your life ever told you to go drink some fucking water? Hydration and electrolytes stop cramps? You're mad at us for information you could have gotten off a fucking Gatorade commercial? When did the common sense about what's good for you and what's bad for you go out the window?
As soon as they click create account on TikTok and they realize that the most promoted content is men hating. Or maybe when she realized that her IQ level doesn't raise above sea level and this is the content other women exactly like her are looking for. Or, she might be right and it's patriarchy's fault she's not drinking enough water.
So get this, I matched with somebody on a dating app and they're like, I don't come on here much, add me on Snap. I'm like, okay. So I add him on Snap. And then he adds me back and he greets me with a picture of himself. And he says, here's a snack for you. Immediately block. Like, what happened to this generation? What happened to being courted? What happened to men wanting to put in genuine effort to get to know somebody? Like, can anybody answer that?
You're not gonna like the answer. What happened with men putting in more effort trying to meet someone? It pretty much went away as soon as hookup culture became a thing. To keep this short, it went away as soon as they started messaging 10 girls at a time, telling them to enjoy the snack, and at least one of the 10 said, how about I enjoy that snack in person? Text me your address, I'll be right over.
One time I went on a date with this guy and he took me to a restaurant that his ex-girlfriend worked at. And maybe that should have been my first red flag, but this was back in my very early 20s. We started talking on social media and he was cute and played hockey and that's all it took for me at 20 years old. So asked me on a date to this specific restaurant. He was adamant about this restaurant. And I had been to the restaurant before. I liked it, so I was like, yeah, sure, that sounds great. We go to the restaurant. The moment we get into the restaurant, he's acting weird. His eyes are darting around, his head is on a swivel. If you would have told me that he did a line in the bathroom before our date, that would have checked. I brushed it off as him being nervous. We get to our table. The waitress comes over and she looks noticeably irritated. And I didn't really think much of it. Everyone has bad days, everyone has off days. She leaves. And my date starts laughing. And so naturally I'm like, what? He goes, that was my ex-girlfriend. And my eyes got really wide and I was like, oh my God, what are the odds of that? He goes, well, I knew she worked here. Huh? Shockingly, I stayed through the date, wouldn't fly today. My self-esteem has, changed. He paid the bill, which as he should, because if he didn't, he would look horrible to his ex-girlfriend. And we left. And shockingly, that's not the worst date I've been on, so, yeah.
Yeah, but in her defense, he was hot and he was playing hockey. So she stayed for a while and she would have stayed for a while even if the guy was screaming his ex's name in bed. But of course, back then she had low self-esteem, right? So it doesn't even matter how many bad dates like that she had. The important thing is now she does have self-esteem. She's gonna make you wait, and won't that make you feel special?
Question for the men. Do you guys think it's trashy or sexy if a woman has tattoos? Is like too many too much? Is it just super hot if it's all over the place? Do you not like them on the face? What do y'all think? Like, I love tattoos. I've got them. But also, I like my tattoos where I can cover them up and be a lady if I need to cover them up. Like, I don't think I'd put them on my face or my chest or, you know, places that can't be covered up. But also, I'm not hating if you do because I think they look hot on women. I think tattoos look hot. But do you guys prefer your woman with or without them? I mean, to each their own, right? Like, every guy is kind of different. But people in my comments sometimes be like, oh, that's why you don't have a man, because you have tattoos. I'm like, then I only date men with tattoos.
Well, there you go, problem solved. And it's great that you can cover them up and be a lady. Nothing more attractive than a woman who knows how to be a lady. At the same time, though, your followers have seen your tattoos. And yes, I know a lady on the street, but shouldn't that include your TikTok account? It will not include your OF account, let's be honest, but maybe it should include your TikTok account.
So we all know Californians come back from being abroad in Europe like, I'm on Barcelona time, what is hamburger? But do Europeans ever come back from California being like, yeah, I dissolved all my filler and I'm on Manjaro, yeah.
I'm sure they do, but why wouldn't they also talk about hamburgers? The way Americans talk about hamburgers, you would think that is the greatest thing ever made. It could be just me, but if I ever lose my mind to choose to be on a flight for more than 14 hours, that would probably be the first thing I try. But then again, I don't have any fillers, so nothing for me to dissolve.
It has been brought to my attention that Tinder is the new frontier. I don't know about you, but in 2015, Tinder was the place that you went to get your oats rolled. It is where you went to potentially not come back. I mean, whenever my friends were on Tinder, I was terrified. I was like, oh my God, you're going to this guy's house. You don't know him. What's going on? You're never going to see him again. We were 18. A lot of these guys were like 35. It's just, ew, it's creepy. It's weird. However, in the past 3 months, no. However, in the past 3 months, I've met several different women who all claim to have met their man on Tinder.
That explains in a way why 60% of men between 18 and 30 are single and only 30% of women in that age range are single. They can just claim they are in a relationship and that makes it true.
I'm 28 this year and I have no friends. I've just seen a video of a girl on a podcast saying that having no friends is a red flag, and I understand how it can be perceived as a red flag, but I also want people to realise that a lot of the time it's not. I think people assume that you're like really toxic or hard to be friends with. I do feel like it's something people are embarrassed to talk about because nobody wants to admit that you have no friends. It does make it sound like you're the problem, and the words she used were like, what's the common denominator here? And I get it, but the thing is it's mostly a choice. I could choose to make effort and make friends with people, but it's something I find really difficult. If I don't thoroughly enjoy your company, I'm not maintaining our friendship, and that's nothing to do with you. It's nothing to do with how valuable of a person you are.
Then it has everything to do with you, so like she said, you are the common denominator, and it's absolutely fine if you don't have any friends because you don't want to have friends, but, because there's always a but.
Some of us just find human connection really difficult, and I do believe friendship is out there for us and we will find these friends. I am longing for it.
I don't know if it's just me, right, or does anyone else have this issue, but I tell myself, okay, I'm gonna be mysterious, I'm gonna not talk so much, because I will literally tell everyone my life story with no shame, right? So I'm telling myself I'm not gonna say nothing, and then someone asks me something and I'm like, okay, so blah, 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 this happened, blah, blah. I can't help it.
She's just a girl. You could practice in the mirror. If the question is, how are you today? Just stick with fine, because the secret is, no one wants to hear your entire life story. In most cases, people are just trying to be polite.
Somebody's been giving me the silent treatment all day.
Do you even care why I'm not talking to you?
Babe, relationships are built on trust, okay? So I trust your decision not to talk to me, and I respect it.
Alright, and this is gonna be it for today. As always, I do hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I still appreciate you for making it this far. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next one.